Everyone, and welcome to this installment of Leather and Spice. Today, we're going to be joined by my friend Beasley Bator, and we're going to have a conversation about what we've been up to this summer. And if you have questions or if you want to interact along the way, feel free to write something in the comment section. Sometimes the font is a little bit too small that it's hard for me to read, but I'll try to go through the comments if there's any questions for us along the way. So on the docket today, we are going to be talking about specifically our experience in getting our nipples pierced and the hesitation that we had and the experience and the recovery from that. So that is the goal. Do you happen to have any questions about the experience? If you are debating yourself on getting pierced and you want to know something, feel free to type something in the comments. And yeah, it seems like Beasley has joined and hey,
Yo, what's up?
just hanging out. How are you?
You're looking amazing with the titties out. I feel like I need to
Thank you.
adjust my shit. Oh, that's better. Is that better?
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. What's going on?
It's Saturday and I just finished my workout. So I have a rotated. Well, how do I do this? Uh, can you see my gym? This is my little gym area.
Yeah, it's your little sex dungeon gym.
Yeah. So I worked out.
Nice.
I went to the farmer's market, and it's been a pretty kind of like chill day. I haven't done anything that serious.
Yeah, all right, cool. I love that.
What about you? What are you up to?
Let's see. I woke up today. It was really weird. I feel like I might have had sleep paralysis last night, which has never happened to me before, but I feel like it was too scary to figure out if that's what happened to me. So I woke up kind of shook this morning. I was like, okay, to kind of meditate and I'm gonna stage my place a little bit. but
So I had a really weird night last night as well, with my sleep. That's so weird because I went to bed around like 10 or 10:30 and I woke up at like 2, like fully awake. Like
yeah, yeah.
what?
Are
And
you are you my sleep paralysis demon?
um I don't know.
Other than that, I woke up pretty well. Like I just was playing some video games. I play Street Fighter, so I'm like trying to learn a new character. And then I worked out a little bit, did some stretching, and then I groomed myself because I'm just I feel like every Mexican man like me, you need to really take care of all your groomage. So I did that, and now I'm here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So it's been what, a week since you got your nipples pierced, is that right?
Yes, I got them pierced on Monday of this week, so
Okay.
they're fresh.
Tell tell us about the journey. What was it like?
Well, first I gotta say I was inspired by you. I mean, you're amazing.
Thank you.
Nipples look great right now. And I've been wanting to do it for a while, but instead of getting my nipples pierced, I ended up getting my guiche pierced. Do you know what a guiche piercing is? Okay. So I got that, and it was right before, or maybe it was during the pandemic, like the first couple of months of the pandemic, and I was like, oh, I really want to get something pierced. So that was what that was. And it was extremely painful.
Wow.
Like some of the worst pain I've ever felt. I was like, how is this even possible? It wasn't actually the initial piercing, like that was fine. It was like five, like maybe two, like a week afterwards that I was really hurting for a while. Um, but so all that to say is that these don't hurt as much. So I'm really surprised that the getting it pierced was hella hard. And I was telling you that I have like a really interesting story because when I was there, I guess I want to call her like an apprentice.
Okay.
They did this nipple, the left one, and then the actual piercing technician did the right, and it was like a complete difference. She murdered me on this nipple. It was so bad. Like, oh my God, it was like, I don't know what she was doing. I didn't look down because I'm really weirded out about needles, but like, I could feel her pushing the needle like 3 times into my nipple. Like, it was like she would push and then she would stop and then she would push and then she would stop and she would push again, which was really bad. I know, it was really gnarly.
That was not my experience at all. Mine was like, the guy was like, had me take 3 deep breaths, and on the third breath, he just shoved it in, and I just screamed like so loudly, but it was done in 1 second.
That's what needed to happen. So then the other person came in and they were just, I guess they were behind me having a conversation, and I could tell like it didn't go well. And then the other technician was like, okay, I'm just gonna thank you for showing me what you did or whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and do this person just watch.
Yeah.
And that was much more streamlined. That was what it is. She was like, take a deep breath, and it was like a hard,
yeah.
Yeah, and it was done. But I was like traumatized. I was just like, the next time I ever get into piercing, I'm gonna be like, no, I only want the professional to do it.
Yeah.
Give me the one that's been doing it for like 20 years. I'm good.
That's what I did as well. I like spent months like researching piercers in my area, and it ended up driving like 2.5 hours away to go to a shop that is owned by a piercer who's been doing this for decades. And I was just like, I trust you. You know, you've pierced thousands of nipples. Like, I'll go to you. And
Yeah,
it turned out to be a good experience.
that's how it should be. And it was really great. And I could tell that the much experienced piercer was just like, let's, because I had the piercings. I wanted them to look gold, so they I don't know what you call it, ionize them, or you do something with the metal so it like burns.
Okay.
Yeah. And so she's like, yeah, let's go, because it was like, I think it was $30 each to do that. So let's just charge them a 15 even for that. I was like, girl, you didn't like give me a 20% discount for the pay that I was like, y'all are crazy. I ended up going to some place here in West Hollywood called Ancient Adornment. So if anyone's in Los Angeles or like in the West Hollywood area, Ancient Adornment is a really popular place. It's a really great place to do piercings. Because when I got my guiche done, again, it was by like a person that had been doing it for a couple of years, and so it was that, you know, that swift puncture action. It hurt, but still, like it was done by someone who's been doing it for a while.
What size did you end up getting pierced at? What gauge?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know the gauges. All I know is that I wanted a little ball, the little being ball, to be a little bit bigger. So I got the next size up. Not the standard that they'll start you off with, but the next size up. Because I have really meaty nipples, and it just felt like it would look weird if I didn't balance them out with the jewelry.
Yeah, I ended up getting pierced at a 12 gauge, and most guys get pierced at a 14 gauge, which is like a smaller size piercing, so the numbers go in the opposite way. But the guy like basically like took a device out and like measured my nipple, and he was like, you know, like you could handle you know, a larger piercing, and so that's what we did. And like, so I'm kind of curious with you, because like I felt for the first few days after getting pierced, like there was this nice feeling like it was getting pulled or like tugged. Like it was like this, like they did not hurt, like unless like I laid on them weird or something like that. Like it was a very pleasurable experience from the onset. But maybe after like 3 days or a week, that sensation, I got so used to it. So like I don't even feel that they're pierced now. Like sometimes like I have to remind myself like, oh yeah, I did that to myself.
I I feel that way now. Like I don't feel like they're not achy or anything. Like they just were a bit stingy for a couple of hours after I did it, but it was pretty much gone the next day.
Yeah.
I have been really careful about sleeping. Like I'm a side sleeper, so I'm just always kind of like ruffling things up. So I've been pretty cautious about just sleeping on my back, which has been uncomfortable because I'm not. So I've just been really careful about that. And also too, they ended up giving me like free like saving
Yes.
solution.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's like a spray. Um, that they were just like, here, take this. And I was just like, give me everything for free. Because what I eventually do is I actually want to get these piercings gold until they're upwards like in the $300. But that's my goal.
Mm,
I wanted it to match with my chain.
that would be awesome.
Yeah, so now it's a look. I just felt like if it were silver, it wouldn't really match anything that pierced. And I'm really happy that I got it all done, said and done.
Yeah.
Um, so that's like my advice if anybody wants to get their nipples pierced. It hurts like a motherfucker. Have someone hold your hand.
Yeah, I mean, it hurts, but it's like to me it wasn't the worst pain that I've ever felt. Like
Okay,
by
those
far.
are
Like it was like a bee sting at the end of the day. Um,
okay
yeah.
because you have a high tolerance for pain, you weirdo.
What?
Because you have a high tolerance for pain.
Well, yeah, I mean, I went down this whole rabbit hole of like, well, maybe I just have a high pain tolerance, and then why is it that I have a high pain tolerance of like a survival mechanism and all that stuff?
Mm, that's interesting.
Because
But I feel like that's more like emotional protection. Like, what are you doing with your body? Like, how are you handling all this stuff? Do you have anything else, Pierce? It's just the titties.
do I have any other piercings?
Yeah.
No, just these. These are my first piercings.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, my goal with these, I was told, at least from my piercer, to get pierced with the bars instead of the ring because it's
Yeah, I don't like the
really
way the rings look.
real.
Yeah.
But I really am hoping next year to transition into rings because I feel like that's like a sexier look.
Oh, really? I don't like the rings. I feel
You
like the
don't?
rings make no, the rings give you more like a cow look, like you're just a fucking better. I feel like the studs are a little sexier, like
They are
but also too,
sexy. They are
they
sexy.
have a little stud instead of the bar, the little ball. They have like a little what do you would call it? Like a little. It looks like a spike. Spikes.
Okay.
Those could be cool. Well,
I think my
hopping
my
hopping.
goal eventually is to be able to hang like weights, like nipple weights off of my brain. So yeah,
You
I kind
want
of
those
have that.
big? You want those big leather daddy titties? Yeah, no, I get it. Then yeah, then you need like a big fucking huge like
Yeah.
metal thing. That'd be cool. I
I mean,
could do some stuff on it.
that's the goal. That's what we're working towards. So
You can hang a little twink off your titties.
yeah.
Oh, I know you love that shit. It's fucking funny. Oh my god.
So how do you feel now that you got a pierce? Do you feel like relieved?
I do. I love them. I just felt like if you want to talk, I want to get deep about it. I just didn't think like I had like pretty nipples to like showcase them. People have always told me to get my ears pierced because I have like so much real estate. But I'm like, I hate my ears. I'm so self-conscious on my ears. Why would I want to draw more attention to that area? Um, the thing I felt about my nipples when I was like, when am I ever going to show these off? Like, I don't really typically walk around shirtless. And I was like, well, now I have an excuse. Like, now I have a really good reason to do it. Like, I really love my jewelry. I think it look really pretty.
Yeah.
If you change the perspective, it's really just like valuing your body to say, my body's really beautiful and I want to adorn it with jewelry. It's the same thing where I wear chains or, things on my wrist. For a long time, I was wearing like what do you call it, ankle bracelet.
Mm, yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I have really pretty feet, so I want attention to my feet, and so that's where I am now in my like body journey. To say that, I love my body enough to like adorn it.
That's great. I mean, I think that that's like a fantastic place to be.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'm looking forward to trying to get more things, Chris. I don't know what it would be, but we'll see.
Do you have a list in mind, or do
No,
you want to share it?
I don't. I feel like maybe oh, you could like do filters on these things. Oh, I kind of like that better. Doesn't that
Mm.
fit? That's how I feel about most of myself most of the time. Just sparkly. Oh,
Yes.
my buddy's Jess just joined. Hi, Jess. Wait, what was the question? Sorry.
You had mentioned that you want to get maybe other piercings, but then you said
Oh,
that you want to keep it secret, so that's okay. We can move on.
I don't know. Maybe I'll get like my balls pierced or something. Because
Mm.
I'm always masturbating anyway, so it'd be nice to see something pretty when I jerk off.
Yeah.
What are we going to cook? I don't know. What are we going to cook, dude? I told people that we're going to talk about nipples and baking, so I'm ready for the peach cobbler.
Well, I don't know what. So I went to the farmer's market today,
Um,
and what did I buy? I got scallops.
mm,
So after this call, I'm going to be making some scallops.
yeah.
Um, and yesterday, I felt like staying home, so I went out and got some ice cream. So it might.
Mm,
You're talking about peach cobbler. I might have to make a peach cobbler to have ice cream with it, but
I think you should.
I find the internet is kind of spotty in my kitchen.
Uh-huh.
So I decided to film it here instead of my kitchen because for a while I was doing like cooking while having the conversations, which I kind of like to do because that's still what like I do when people call me is I'm
Yeah.
always doing stuff. So I wanted there to be like kind of like a real life portrayal of like what I'm doing.
Yeah, definitely. You know what would be so cool, and I would love to watch you do? Like if you had a guest with you, like in your home,
Yeah.
and you all like cooked a meal together while you were talking on the subject. That'd be fucking cool.
That okay. So that is like that's the dream. Like I'm working up towards that. Um that like my fantasy, and now that I'm putting this like even more out there, my fantasy is essentially to have like my house be like a bed and breakfast, right? And guys can stay and we make a meal together. Like there's a PG-13 component where we make the meal together and we just chat and that can be put on like YouTube or Spotify or something like that can handle that.
Yeah.
And then there's like the after dinner or maybe before meal component in like the dungeon area and
Yeah.
that's the fans or just for fans component of it.
That no, I think that's a really great idea, and I would love to get invited. I want the best room with the friend discount rate. But what I'm saying is that you could do it now on YouTube, because I know you have your YouTube, and I love that you have conversations with people about really cool subjects like the leather community or like
Yeah.
sex and kink. Do that now. Like invite people over and like film it in your kitchen, just like have a camera set up, have a light, and just like make something really simple, like toast. Like I would fly to New York and we would just like be vibing in your kitchen and like, talking about like prosciutto and like nipples.
Right.
I don't know. I think that'd be really cool. I'm always trying to like now I'm in the moment or like in a phase of like this, whatever we're doing, whatever we're trying to create in terms of content. It's moved over to YouTube for me, and so now my mind is just like going off on all these like crazy ideas.
Yeah.
Like,
Tell me a little bit about that. Like you just started YouTube like this month or a few months ago?
no, yeah, this week. And so I have been doing my podcast, The Bait Escape,
Yeah.
which talks, it's all about masturbation, sex life, and other things. And it's just always been audio, and I've always just really been intimidated by video because I just don't like the way you look on camera. Oh, I like that one. The other one, the retro part,
Which one?
the video game one. It was like a video game. You were like inside a Tamagotchi
Oh,
or something. That's a cool filter too.
this one.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
really
a
cute.
yeah, someone's computer watching whatever they should be watching.
Those are really fun. These are really fun filters.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cute. I like that one.
I get like sometimes a little bit too distracted by the filters.
I know it's like
They
a lot.
can get like kind of tricky.
I know
I
it's a
call
mess
it
for
personal.
my ADHD. Yeah, I like that one. That was really cool. Yeah, so the beta escape. So there was only primarily on podcast platforms. Like it was just audio. And for a long time, I was like, I really want to move to YouTube. And so I was just like, what am I going to do on YouTube? Like, I don't want to do like, I don't review makeup. I don't really talk about clothes. Like what, like we talk about really adult topics. Will that really fly on YouTube? And so I thought, well, if I can put on the podcast, keep it a little bit more PG-13, maybe I can get away with it. And so I have the first episode now up on
Mm.
YouTube. So I'm trying to just see what YouTube's gonna like do with it and see what the response is. But so far it's been pretty good. I've gotten comments that people are like can follow along easier if they have a visual. So that's been really good
That's
feedback
great.
from.
Yeah, I did a few like I go in spurts with YouTube. Like on YouTube, I do more like long form cooking videos. Like this past
Yeah.
summer, I was just recording the whole process, like whatever it is I'm making. And you could just watch me wander around my kitchen cooking something for like an hour. And then I would sometimes like have a topic that I was talking about or like something I was like working through or something that had happened to me. So it's like kind of telling stories and cooking.
Hmm.
So I had like maybe 5 to 10 videos about that. But I find that on YouTube, there's these weird spurts. Like a lot of people will find me one day and then I'll go weeks or a month without any interaction.
Mm.
And I don't know if I'm like shadow banned on YouTube, like why some of my other like content has been like way more popular than other content. Like I can't figure out the algorithm. Um, yeah,
Well, I think it's real. I think you're justified and like the algorithm's fucked up somehow. And so I really do honestly believe like these companies like have something in the algorithm that really catches. I mean, it's true for Instagram. Like you can't type the word sex. Like you literally have to write out the word SEGGS or you get flagged. And so I honestly, it's true. There is something in the algorithm that really flags down these conversations, which is really stuff
yeah,
unfortunate because we're having really important conversations about things that people want to get knowledgeable about. And like social media is the first place I get all my news. Like I don't even go to Fox and I don't even go to fucking these stations anymore because that's all just biased information. I really want to talk to people like us. Like what's the conversation happening amongst our friends, in our community? That's what's most important to me right now.
totally, totally. I couldn't agree more. And again, like I don't watch that much television myself because I prefer there to be this more, I don't know, like real interaction. So I think that,
Yup.
and on YouTube, I often used hashtags that had gay as a component of it. So I wondered whether that flagged me to be like a potential shadow ban because I think that there's probably something in the algorithm that like associates gay with sex and that sex
Mm.
something that's down weighted. Um,
I
yeah.
mean, they're not wrong. Gay people have a lot of sex. Gay men have a lot of sex. But it's fine to equate those things. Like, I'm not ashamed of gay people having the sex.
No.
It's this idea that sex and gay is
Yes.
bad, which is why we're being
Right.
flagged. It's just like, okay, like, we need to really change the narrative and we really have to educate people to, like, it's just, I don't know, it's mind-boggling. In 2023, like we still have an educational conversation about the fact that you can be anybody that you fucking want. Like, why are we even having to talk about this shit, right?
I totally agree. Did you see like the whole Folsom debate that's been going on in the social
No,
webs?
what's going on with
So,
Folsom?
I saw a picture of a guy who I forget exactly what he wrote
Is it the shit guy?
on the what?
Is it the
Yes.
shit guy? Oh my God. Yeah, tell me. I want to know what you think about that.
Well, he wrote a message. I forget what it is. If you know it, you can write in the comments. I think it was something like to the effect of like "Don't touch me" or I forget what it was, but it was written with scat. And there's been a lot of like debate up in arms about like, well, how he was a biohazard and putting people at health risk for this, and you
Mhm.
know, I mean that's one example, but I saw a lot of comments on some Twitter thread about just like I guess a lot of the what I'll call like respectable gays commenting about how like that Folsom's supposedly like, too sexual, and I think that there's a lot of like repressed homophobia in their comments
Mhm.
there, and that like at the end of the day, I usually feel like those comments come from a place of jealousy, but I've noticed a lot of that discourse in some like Twitter threads.
Hey, Mr. Dave.
Hey.
I think that's true, and then I was reading more about it, and I was reading comments, and I was kind of getting more information about it. Folsom, yes, is a place for kink, like all kinds of kink. So if you're not prepared to like be in an environment where you're going to see a bunch of sexual kink, then don't go. This to me was an extreme, and I think I don't know if it was verbatim what he was saying, if these were his direct quotes, but I think the idea for him was since he has such a beautiful body, since he's like I don't know if he's a sex worker, he might be a sex worker. Oftentimes when he inhabits these spaces, people tend to take advantage by like touching him
Right.
in inappropriate places, and also too without consent. And so the solution for him was to was to put shit on himself in a means to deter people to say, "Oh, that's disgusting. Like, I don't want to touch that." But
Right.
I think it's missing the point. Like, I think for me, it's it is a biohazard. Like, it's dirty. It's not sanitary. So like, even if no one wants to touch you, if you're brushing up against someone, I don't want shit on me. That's gross. But I think it's an opportunity for this person to really start to have a conversation with people to say, hey, don't touch me. This is inappropriate. While I know I'm naked and I'm in a space that encourages nudity, you're still not asking my consent whether or not you can touch me. So have that conversation, right? Like
Right.
tell people how to treat you rather than just like putting people at risk for like different diseases with your shit. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think from a conceptual standpoint, I think it's kind of a brilliant like art piece, to be honest. I think that it really speaks volumes and it has a message, but I can
Sure.
understand from like a health, perspective, like the concerns there. Perhaps the organizers, should have, someone at the higher up, like at the end of the day, like they made a decision, I guess, like to allow him in, or I don't know if they have security, for instance,
I think
there.
maybe he could have done it while he was already in the place.
Yeah,
Like he could have just went to the bathroom, took a dump, and handled his business. It's just it's nuanced, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
but I still stand. I think ultimately, when I think about it, and when I make my final, you know, thought about it, like it just wasn't the right way to go. Like I just feel like they could have found a much better solution to the problem that he was having. Because isn't it my understanding, and I'm not really knowledgeable about scat, but isn't it going inside your mouth? Like, aren't you eating the shit? Like, if you just scat, or are you playing with it?
I think it could be either. I think it
Okay,
really depends. I mean, it's not something that I'm familiar with myself, but I imagine that people would do it either way.
got it. well, I mean, come on, like if you were at Folsom and you were like having a beer, hanging out with your friends, and this person like you know comes up behind you, and it's a really packed place, and you got shit all over you. Like, wouldn't you be upset?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
well, in like Folsom or any gay event, it's only so crowded that guys end up having to be like body to body to body, like all the bodies are together, whether you want it or not. That is just how packed some of those places are, and so in that case, it's bound probably to be spread around.
and also too, like feces carries a lot of more diseases than urine really does, and so yeah. I mean, you're gonna stink. You stink like shit the entire day. I, I don't. That's
Yeah,
not
I mean, I
something that
think
I
it's a
would choose
special.
before.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very special case of. I don't know if I've seen kink that displayed so openly and I don't know, somewhat aggressively, for lack of a better word. Um,
Yeah, and also too, like we didn't consent to like
yeah,
smelling your shit. You didn't ask us. Like it's all about ethical, right? It's ethical sex,
yeah,
right? We don't want to go around doing things to each other that we're not agreeing to do. Then you're just raping people, and that's not okay. Um, But yeah, if I show up to a party, a sex party, and you got shit all over you, bro, I'm out. I'm dipping. Like, no,
yeah.
thank you. Not the thing for me.
So let me ask you this thought that just came to my mind, which is like
Hmm.
someone who is not into kink, they could say something similar, like or into leather, for instance. They could say something similar, like, when they're at the Pride Festival, like, I don't want to see that kink. Like, so you're saying like his shit is like affronting your nose and your smell. What's the way to combat people that say that they don't want to see let's put the shit thing aside, see kink being represented at like Pride and stuff like that.
Um, but I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't been to a pride in a really long time. When they do have kink, don't they have it like in enclosed spaces?
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, so that's fine with me. So like I understand that kink can be really extreme and we're dealing with people's bodies and you're gonna see them in ways that you might not be comfortable seeing, and so you close it off. But someone wandering around publicly with shit all over them,
Right.
like if I'm eating a burger and he's sitting down next to me, I'm about to punch this guy. Like, get away from me! Like you're not gonna like fucking do that to me. However, I do think kink is valid, and I don't think it should go anywhere. Like it should be part of Pride. Like kink is part of gay culture, and so it's a very much welcome to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't want to see it, don't go into this tent. That's exactly why. And I think you have to pay, or you have to be a certain age to see that kind of kink anyway.
Yeah. And if they like if it's in the tent, the person has the agency or they're exercising the agency to go to the tent. Whereas like with the guy with like the shit, it's not like he's like invading your bubble in a way.
Yeah,
Like you're not seeking that out with your own agency.
exactly. Exactly. It's like you're coming into my space, honey. Like
Right.
you need to go away, hunty. Nobody invited you to the party. Well, I mean, you could say that they all pay the same price, but like, would it have been different if the guy wasn't like good looking? Do you think? Like, what if he was someone that wasn't as like beautiful as this person was? Do you think it would have been a bigger problem? And also, too, the guy was white. Let me talk about that. Because from a person that's a POC and looking through the lens of that life, he's got a lot of privilege walking around with shit on him, and everyone's just like, okay, he's just really beautiful. That's just his king. That's just what him do what he wants to do. interested to know if it was someone that was black or Asian or something other than white.
I think that's a really great point of talking about this like intersectionality
Totally.
of
I'm always,
this, yeah.
yeah, because I'm always having to combat that in my own sex life. And so, yeah, like I said before, it's really nuanced, and so there could be so many different ways to really kind of break down that scene. Ultimately, did he get kicked out or did he stay? I don't even know what happened to the guy.
I forget. Like I haven't really followed it. I've just seen.
Wait,
I saw like one
what do you think? What's your final thought on it?
on whether or what. What's the question?
I mean, just what's your opinion? Like, what's your final stance? Should he have been allowed to walk around with shit on him? Should he have been
Um.
escorted out? Should he have been told not to do that?
Yeah. Again, I feel like it's really nuanced, and I think that there should have been like a security guard that would check, each person as they enter into the festival to see, whether, uh, it would be good or not. I I really think that it's like brilliant from an like an art perspective, but I have to say, if I was there and I had to deal with the smell, I probably wouldn't enjoy it. So that's where I kind of lean more towards like, I think that I agree with you that there could have been a better way, a less invasive way to handle this situation. Yeah.
And also too, like I feel people like dress to the nines for these things. You know, people go decked out with
Right.
their best gear. They want to look gorgeous. They want to feel amazing. And for that to just get muddied up by some douchebag that's like walking around with shit on them, it's upsetting. Just to be
Yeah.
cool. Look at again. I think if you don't have the dialogue to tell someone not to touch you, then there's a bigger problem here.
I think that's a great point. Communication is key.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of thing that I try to talk about in my own podcast and my own work. That we can have conversations and talk about the things that make us uncomfortable without like losing connection. You know, like
Yeah.
stating how you feel or asking for what you need shouldn't lead to an argument or resentment. I'm still connected with you, and we're gonna figure out a way to like work it together so we can both have really great sex. Speaking of really great sex.
Do you think that you did you always feel that way or have that like that value, or is that something that you learned from the Bator community?
That's something that I learned when I went to when I took a course to become a sex coach.
Mm,
There was a lot of things that I was not taught when I was younger, and those things focused on intimacy, connection, boundaries were huge for me. I had no idea what a boundary was until I went to this training. It was really eye opening, and that was one of the things that I really learned that if something's making you uncomfortable in sex, that you can express how you feel but still hold space.
mhm.
And so learning that and then applying that to the people that I find in the Bader community, um, I've been really fortunate for people to be really responsive to that. But that's the Bader community. The Bader community is amazing. They're so chill and they're so open. So it's been really great so far.
Yeah, I feel, I've been reflecting back on, I guess, like my Bator journey. And because I connected with this guy who I've known now for almost 10 years. And I connected
Mm-hmm.
with him again like a week ago. Like we hadn't actually seen each other for a year. And it was just nice to, it's reflecting on the fact that he's been so encouraging, towards my self-expression and being comfortable with myself and things like that. And he's been
Yeah.
nothing but like encouraging. And that's like been that was like the first place that I found that. was within that community.
Are you talking about the beta or the leather
Yeah,
community?
yeah, in the bator community.
It's fun. I think betas are so chill. I feel kind of, and this is just generalizing, but I feel like the beta community is like full of like sexual rejects. We're like all the leftovers, and we're all coming together. And we're just like, no, fuck that. Like, we're not longer rejects. Our sex is valid, and we're gonna like build a community out of it. And I think that's what's happening now, and I really sense that. Like, there's so many things that I have in common with other beaters in terms of like traumas and like
Yeah.
people who are people of color in the community who have been outcast from like the typical gay community. Um, and so I really do think like if there's something like if you're a sexual person that doesn't fit the mainstream, I feel like the beater community is a really place for you to like come and hang out.
Yeah, and I think that in the bator community, I mean, at least for me, like I've met so many different guys that have opened up doors to just like fantasies and like experiences and things like that that I one maybe didn't even know about,
Huh?
or two didn't know how to approach.
Mm.
And I'm pretty grateful for that community to be so, I don't know, like judgment free, to be like, this is the thing I'm into. Do you want to join me in in this or not?
Yeah. And also too, I feel like in the time that I've known you, like your leatherness has really evolved. And that's been really great to watch. Like just everything, like the things that you wear, or like the way you frame your face with your facial hair, getting your nipples pierced, like getting more and more like leather daddy has been such a really great evolution to watch. It's really hot.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Because I think it's important to you, and you obviously like it. You know, you love the history, and I love, and I think that's what I'm most impressed about is that you do find the history really critical to the things that you do. You know, you reference a lot Tom Finland.
Mhm.
There's a lot of references to that, and I think it's important. You got to know your history.
Of course, yes. I can't say anything more than yes, you need to know your history.
C is for
Like,
cock knows what he's talking about.
you
Isn't it sexy? C for cock? Like it's hot to like watch this guy just be like, oh, I'm a fucking mother daddy. And I love the picture of you with all the IDs. Wait, was that something you posted on Instagram, or did you share that with me
I
privately?
put it
I
on
forget.
the stories. I didn't post it other than in the stories.
That's fun. So like you're just a little baby, and then now you're just like a mother
Right.
daddy. It's just like God, the evolution of you has been so great. Woo.
And then it makes me think about the future, like what's gonna be my
Yeah,
2030 picture? Like that's the thing that I'm always excited about in some ways to see just like how things evolve because like you never know. You never know what you're gonna be into.
that's true. It's like I think. I'm trying to think. I think it's going to be exciting. It'll be like I I don't think the leather will ever go away. Do you think it'll ever go away? Like one day you're gonna hang up your leather harness and be like,
Right.
yeah. No, like
I
it's
don't
just who you
think
are,
so.
right? Yeah, like it's just gonna be like maybe you'll have your leather like framed on the wall, like you won't necessarily wear it, but you'll still be like the essence of like this leather daddy.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment in my bedroom, I already have my leather jackets like on my wall, so we're already
See?
one step there.
That's so funny. I don't know if I was. Have I ever been to leather? I think I own a leather harness. I don't think I've ever really fully gone full leather like
Mm,
you. I think you do. I think you do it really well. I personally don't think I could pull it off. However, I do like going to the Eagle here in LA. If anyone knows, that's a really great place for like a lot of like leather stuff. I think that's really cool to watch.
I went there last year. I was there last summer.
When are you gonna come back to LA again?
What was that?
When are you coming back to LA?
I don't know. I mean, I played around with the idea of coming for Claw in Thanksgiving, but I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna feel too busy. So
Mhm.
maybe like next year.
Because the reason why I tell you that is because I shot a scene with the milking coach, and he rented out this place called the Pig Pen in LA,
Yeah.
and it's basically your dungeon. It's like this small little hole in the wall, but it's amazing. It has like these four beds, like all these TVs, like a wall of leather. It has a bathroom with a glory hole. Like it's amazing. I was like, oh, like Leather Cook would love this place. Like you would have so much fun playing with boys here.
So this is a hotel, is that right?
No, it's not a hotel. It's literally like in East LA. It's in the hood, and it's basically like a little like place. Like it's just like this little address, it has a physical address, it has a door, and it's all like locked up security. And you just kind of go into the space, and it's like this crazy sex room.
I would totally love to go there at some point.
You could rent
Maybe
it.
add
I
it to
mean,
the list.
literally, Leather Coach came out here, and that's where he slept. Like he stayed there. You could sleep there, and you have a bathroom. I mean, they don't have a kitchen or anything, but you'd go out and get food. But yeah, you can throw a party. You can invite a lot of people over. Like you can rent it out for like photo shoots and porn shoots and like anything that you need it to be.
That's amazing.
And you're in New York, right? You're upstate.
Yeah, I'm in upstate New York.
I've been wanting to go back because it's the fall season. Has everything been changing colors?
It's starting.
Oh, I miss it so much. I remember when I was living in New York, I took a trip up to, I think it was in New Jersey. I took a trip up to like this art installation. Do you know about this?
Where
It's like a
in New Jersey?
I can't remember. I don't know if I think it was New Jersey because we ended up going. But anyway, we went up like the road was so amazing because like all the leaves were turning color. So everything was like brown and like orange and like red, and it was so new to me because I'm from LA. So I was like, this is what I've been waiting for. This is the New York that I wanted to see because I was in the city and all I saw was like black, muddy snow. And I was like, this is not the luck. This is not what I was expecting. What's a storm king?
I don't, I don't
So
know the
it's a
story.
so it's a rental hot set. Um, yeah, well, it's a hot set, like just like a set to do stuff. Yeah, you could rent it. Mhm.
Hmm.
Cool stuff. What was I gonna say? New York. Yeah, I definitely want to go and visit again in New York. Yeah, Stormony's a sculpture park. Okay, so maybe that's what it was. Yes, it's a sculpture
Ah,
park. That's what I was talking about. I remember they had like all these sculptures and stuff like that. Anyway, it was a really fun time. I feel like you should go. Also, too, I remember going apple picking in New York.
yes. Yes, I live very close to like an apple orchard, and I kind of
Ooh,
love going apple picking.
I want to go. Will you invite me to your home and then we can go apple picking?
You're welcome to my home.
Will you wear leather to the apple picking?
Well, I'll wear like a leather jacket at least. Maybe not leather pants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe not leather pants. You can wear a leather jacket and your metal harness thing, which is really
Yeah.
cool. Where'd you get that
Yeah.
piece from?
Where did I get this from?
Yeah,
I made it.
did you really?
I did, yeah. I bought the chain at Lowe's and I have a bolt cutter. So I kind of just took my leather harness and I took that apart and then just measured the chain to those individual pieces and
That's so cool.
put it together like that.
That's so amazing. I want one like that.
My goal is now to develop this further and have it to go all the way down to like a cock ring. Um, so I want to have it like a full body harness.
Yeah,
So that's going to be my next.
I definitely love I definitely love like body harnesses like
Yeah.
that. They have some really great pieces on like S leather. They have really cool pieces. They're so expensive though. Maybe I should make my own.
I mean, You got to spice up your Jester fans, right? So you could do that with some leather.
Oh yeah, the just for fans. Yeah, I gotta get it more on that just for fans. Mini Husky's asking, does the chain pinch your hair? Does it pinch your body hair?
Not really. No.
Yeah, I
It's
feel like you got it in a way where it doesn't.
it's more um like in my back, I can't really sit, or like when I am sitting straight, I can feel the chain against me. Like that's the only like slight discomfort, I would say.
Oh. You should make it so the little hoops go around your nipples.
I'll do that next time. That could be.
No, I'm just kidding. But that's really cool. That's really crafty. I feel like you can make some other really cool pieces. Did you make the leather band on your arm, or did you buy that piece?
Um, so I haven't made anything myself with leather. So I bought this. Both of these are from Mr. S.
You just ordered it online. I want to go to their shop. We should go to San Francisco. We
Yeah,
should go to San Francisco.
I've never been to San Francisco, so I've never been to their shop.
I had an older brother who went to Berkeley,
Mm.
so I would always go. But I want to go and like visit the scene. I've never been to Folsom. I definitely want to go. But what is crawl? Claw? Did you say claw or crawl? Crawl? Claw. You said claw.
Claw.
What is that?
So this is weird. It's Cleveland Leather Awareness Week. So it's this leather event that started in Cleveland,
Mhm.
and then right after the pandemic, they started hosting a Thanksgiving edition in LA, like in
Mm.
downtown. So um, it's what I've heard is it like tends to skew a little bit older, but it's like just chill older leather men hanging out, having fun, smoking cigars. Um, so
I thought
you
it's gonna be. It's
like
gonna be.
check it out.
I thought it's gonna be you in a couple of years.
Is that something I would go to?
No, I said it's gonna be you in a couple of years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, until I get if I had the money, I would go this year probably.
Yeah, I know. The money. That's always a problem. There's a lot of things that I want to do for sure. That's what I did this summer. Like I feel like I in the summer I was in Palm Springs a lot because I really wanted to like do that thing. But I was told about so many different like other events around the world that I really want to go to. There's like a penis. I think it's a penis parade in Japan that I want to attend.
Oh,
Do you know about this?
no,
Like this penis
no, I've
festival?
never
It's
heard
like
of that.
it's a like really cool penis festival. They make like penis lollipops and balloons, and they have like it's a giant penis float. It's pretty
Wow.
awesome.
I had, I mean, the only thing to that level that I know of is in Iceland. There is a whole penis museum.
I've heard that. I've heard of the penis fest. See, Deontay knows. Wait, in Iceland, there's a museum of penises, like
Yeah,
male, like
yeah,
human, animal, all kinds of penis.
yeah, all kind.
I want to go to Iceland just to bathe in those like blue lagoons. Those look so cool. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I've been there.
you've been to these hot blue Iceland?
Yes,
These hot
yeah, I've
spots?
been to the Blue Lagoon.
I
Uh,
want to go.
yeah, I mean it's nice. It's very touristy, but it's nice.
Do you get to go naked or do you have to be clothed?
Uh, I, I'm pretty sure you have to wear clothes, like speed up.
Eh, screw that. Just kidding. I hate wearing clothes. I was talking to someone, they're like, I'm a nudist. And I was like, I think I'm a nudist too. And we're just like, why wear clothes? They're so constricting. Sorry, that's just my intrusive thought.
It's like for me, it's kind of funny because like I have a hard time playing without leather, right? Where a lot of guys want to be completely naked while they play, and
Mm,
for me, the leather is something that like kind of helps me get into that zone. Like I kind of sometimes I like feeling that constriction, like depending on the kind of constriction it
yeah.
is. Um, but most bators are usually naked.
So when you're having any kind of sex, whether it's like partnered or solo, you have to wear like a piece of leather. What does that do for you? Does it make you feel sexy?
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it not only does it make me feel sexy, but it helps me take on
That persona.
that kind of persona or to adopt those
Mm,
characteristics. It's like the
that makes sense.
costume makes the man in a way.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that.
So
Mm.
yeah, I would say very like 90-95% of the time, like I will always play with some gear on, depending on how hot it is outside or how cold it is.
Yeah, that would bring you to the winter.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the winter in New York?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of excited to be honest for it to get dark at like 4 p.m. again.
Yeah, it's literally raining all day today in LA. Like I woke up and it's been gloomy all day, and like, you know what? I fucking love it. I love the fall. I love sweater weather. I want it
Yeah.
to be dark and gloomy. I'm already online shopping for hoodies and sweatshirts and
Yes.
it's and socks and all that good stuff. It's already spooky season. I'm gonna go this weekend to a 99-cent store, get some Halloween decorations, spice it up. I would love to see like really cool fall meals from you. That'd be nice to see.
Mm.
Like get me some pumpkin spice, some shit. Get me a hot toddy.
Okay.
Get me like a lot of like just like warm comfort stews. That'd be a,
I
that'd be a hit.
I I love that suggestion, and I've been in this like I'm working on so many different projects, and so I do on Instagram kind of like what I've been doing lately is like themes. Like I'll work through like soups, or I'll work through like a certain book.
Mhm.
And I love this idea that you're saying because I've been meaning to revisit my hot toddy recipe, and like because I am working on my book, and I'm like testing out recipes and making photos and stuff like that.
Are
So
you making a cookbook?
yeah, I'm writing a cookbook at the moment.
Oh my God, that's
So
amazing. I didn't know
I-
that.
it's kind of like an anthology, I guess, of the stuff that I put on Instagram. So I'm basically going through the stuff I posted in the past 3.5 years
Yeah.
and creating menus. Like, so basically grouping um, the dishes to have like a breakfast, a lunch, a snack, a dinner, a dessert, a bread, a drink. And I'm
Oh, that's
creating
cool.
menus. Um, and then just using either the images that I put on Instagram or some extra images that I never published, um, and just putting that all together. So
I know it's amazing. What's the name of your book, The Leather Cook?
at the moment, it's something like the Leather Cook Volume 1 Culinary Travels or something like that.
Nice.
Because
Wait, what's the thing that you, like, what's your, just like genre? Is that a right word to use with cooking? Like, what's your style of cooking? What's your, like,
so,
flavor profile? What are you working with?
I mean, I'm like really influenced by like Scandinavian cooking and Eastern European cooking. So I do a lot, like in Scandinavia, they love to use like cardamom in their desserts. And so I often introduce cardamom in the things that I do and like,
Yeah.
caraway seeds and kind of this kind of fermented flavors.
Yeah, that's
So
nice.
yeah, but that's like the area that I'm most
Cool.
studied, I guess.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
But
I love when you cook. Everything you cook looks so delicious.
well, I'm hoping after I write this book that other people can try the recipes. And, my goal has always been to make recipes that single gay guys would not feel intimidated by and that they would, you know, treat themselves well and make themselves like a beautiful.
So basically, the meals are going to be really tiny and have a lot of fiber. I feel like you'll have a special section for all the bottoms. It'll just be like salads.
Yeah, I, I'll, I have like I should have like a menu for bottoming,
Yeah,
and then
you
a
really
menu
do.
for what's the word I want to say?
You should have
A
like
menu
mini
for
menus
gainers.
for like baiters. You know, when people are doing like these long edging sessions, just be like, make yourself a little snack beforehand. This is what you
Yes,
want to do. You could do it with your dick out. You could do it with your dick in. But here's a little snack. Take a break. Make sure you hydrate and have some. Ooh, you can make like really cool like hydrating drinks.
yes. And do you know about the Holy Grail?
Of what?
The come Holy Grail, the bator Holy Grail.
No, tell me.
So, essentially, they recommend taking different supplements like pygeum and maca and ginseng and, you know, abagasha or whatever, right? There's this like list that if you just Google like Holy Grail, it may even take you to an article or something on Bait World. Like it's it is like a term that's used a lot. And I created a video that uses the ingredients, but I probably should focus, like, I should probably write something about what each of those ingredients are doing
What's
and why
what's it
you
what's it supposed to
wouldn't.
do to your cum?
So, some of these ingredients are supposed to make it more viscous or more, to have a more volume. Some of
Yeah.
the ingredients are for stamina and to make you more, horny. Um, and honestly, like I've been taking this shake now for probably like 8 years or 9 years. Um, so I've been like doing this and I feel like
Does it help?
I want to say so. Yeah. I mean, like, I believe it, even if it's a placebo.
I remember once I got so interested in like increasing the volume of my sperm.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, I was like taking a bunch of like vitamins and stuff, but I was like, I don't even really think this is working. But I always see those ads on Bait World. I think it's called Seminax, where it's
Yeah, I've
supposed to
never
like
taken
visit. Me neither, which is supposed to increase your load. So maybe that's like a different avenue I should be taking rather than taking like I forgot one of the pills. Where they're like, did I really take this? Like a root. I don't know. Maybe it benefited me in other ways, but I don't think it did anything to my spermies.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, I don't know if that like actually works, but guys have said to me like, you know, after the fifth orgasm that they like don't have any um cum, but like I can easily still have cum like at the fifth or sixth or seventh.
So then
Um,
it is working for you.
so that's why I'm like, it probably is doing something.
It is doing something because I just feel like I think after the third or fourth for me, I'm just like dry bullets.
I don't have dry bullets. I always have something. There's always something to give.
Wow. Woo. You're always shooting something out of there, huh?
Can't help myself.
There's a combination of the leather and all those like supplements that you're taking. It's hot though. It's nice.
So tell me, what do you got planned for October?
Um, well, I took the summer off. Long story short, I like lost my job at the beginning of the summer, which is a good thing. I don't have any bad feelings about it. So I took the summer off, and I was just kind of doing my thing.
Yeah.
And I really was working on the podcast, and I was working on my Just for Fans, and I really want to like ultimately what I want to do is I just want to become like a personality. And so I want to write a book. I want to be on a reality TV show. I want the podcast to go huge. That's kind of like my baby. I really want it to go mainstream. Um, that was my focus. And then the money started going out, and I was like, okay, I can't do this in summer. So I'm busy looking for work right now. Just something that can pay the bills, and then on the side start to do this work more and
Yeah.
more. Because it's hard. It's work. I don't think people understand. Like I do it all. There's not a production company here. Like I shoot the content, I edit the content, I upload the content, I tweet the content. Like this all takes time
Yes.
to do, and so it takes most of my attention right now. But I'm looking forward to celebrating Halloween.
Mm.
I love I love the fall. To me, the fall has always given me a sense of like, okay, back, get your business in order, back to your affairs.
Right.
It's time to be professional. I'm trying to get that work back up. But yeah, what about you?
Um, I'm in this process of trying to really focus on the things that I want to do, which is work on this cookbook, which I had put off for so long because I feel like, life can always just come up, right?
Right.
And I'm learning to set kind of helpful rules for myself to get that project done and make it seem less intimidating by working on it a
Mm-hmm.
little bit every day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like one area of focus. And the other area is just to continue working on my social media, showing different sides of myself, whether that's on Twitter or on Instagram or YouTube. And because I think I get a lot out of it, I get a lot out of doing this work, of making material
Mm-hmm.
where our different communities can be seen because I feel like we're often invisible.
Mm.
Um, and, I find myself like similar to you, like being called towards this kind of awareness or someone who helps to promote awareness, whether that's awareness around just like sexual identities or about sexual practices or different
Mm.
lifestyles.
Yeah.
I think all of that really matters.
I think it totally matters. I think at the beginning I hesitated because I was like, oh, I don't really have like a place of authority. Like I didn't have formal education on like sexology or sex therapy or things like that. This is my life, and I think there's something really informative about that, to like share your experience and to
Yeah.
say, oh, I've been through that. People are coming to me and saying, I heard about you doing this thing. How did you overcome that? I can say that I did. I can tell you the steps and the skills that I learned and how to utilize them. And really, ultimately, all the things that I'm doing, it's really just coming from like a lived experience. And for so long, I just didn't think that was good enough. Right? Like you think, oh, who am I to say? Like I didn't go to school for this, or I wasn't taught this. But I think when it comes from a lived experience, like it makes it more real because it's like, well, you've definitely been through it. So how did you overcome it? And so that was the piece that was missing for me. Um, I think at the beginning I was like, oh, I've been through all this shit. Look at me now. But it's being able to provide that information to say this is a skill that I learned, and it was difficult to learn, and this is how we did it in practice. For me, that was what was always missing, and so now I'm that missing piece. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to be that missing piece for others
I,
because I didn't get it.
I
That's what was missing for me.
yeah. Yeah. I I certainly didn't get that, but I feel like, my whole 30s, like I had this idea in my 20s that like once I got to 30, like all my problems would be solved. Like I just thought that life would be easy, and it has
Yeah,
not been that case.
no, it hasn't.
I feel like my 30s it's been all about me really figuring out the thoughts that I absorbed from society that actually I don't believe in, and like recognizing that and like releasing that, and really just like unifying all the sides of me.
Mm,
I, for so long, had the sex side, and then the professional side, and like all these different people were separate. And I feel like, this account and, meeting other people in the communities, I've been able to show up as like my leather self more, in different areas of life. It's not just confined to my house, but it's more of like a persona, that I'm showing, where I feel like I'm showing like a truer self
Yeah,
of
it's who you
and
it's who
letting
you are
go
authentically.
that societal norm stuff.
Yes, it's showing up into your space, to your home, to the people that you love, to the people that you respect, full heartedly. It's who you are, like authentically, right? And it's just like that's another reason why I want to show it and I want to show face. It's like I'm a fully realized human. Like I have a history. Like I have, I grew up in a city with friends and family, and all that affected me to the person that I am today. And so, you don't have to have, or you don't have to have a sense of being like a freak hidden in the shadows. You can come forward and have a conversation about the things that really matter to you. Whether it's sex, leather, food, masturbation. None of these things are bad.
Yeah,
They're just a whole of who you are. So why do I have to? Why do I have to show that? I mean, not show that. Why do I have to hide that?
right.
You know?
And it makes me feel like, we often hide things because of shame.
Right.
Like we either have a feeling of shame, or we think that other people will have some sort of
Right.
weird feeling towards us. And so we
Right.
hide ourselves. And I think, the guys that I have learned the most from are those that really expose themselves. And I feel like there's a sense of like liberation by
Mm-hmm.
saying like, I'm not gonna, like, I have no shame for this. Like, this is my body, this is my pleasure. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
sharing this experience with like the world. And I think
Yeah,
that's like one of the most profound things I think that can happen in the community.
I absolutely 100% agree. I think coming out and living my truth has not only improved my physical health, because I think I was like sick all the time, like I was tired, like I just was not being the person that I wanted to be, and I knew who I was. And then again, that affects you mentally as well. And I suffered for a long time. And I mean, I still do. I don't suffer now. I know how to deal with my mental health issues now. At a place that gives me a really lovely life. But I don't know. I think I just got to a point in my life where I was like, I just feel sick because I'm not keeping it 100. I'm not keeping it real with me first and foremost. This is who the fuck I am. I want to be able to showcase this and who am I really afraid of. It's not a secret. Like I just, no one can come to me and be like, oh, I know this dirty thing about you. Really? Well, so do 70,000 followers on
Right.
like Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, ultimately, it's my life. And I got tired. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, just hide and secretly the entire time? Like, I don't give a fuck.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that's a place where once you get to that point where you realize how much you're giving up by not really bringing yourself authentically,
Mm-hmm.
that's the part where like people have a harder time fucking around with you because you know what you stand for, you know what you're worth, and that is gold, right? That's precious.
No, it's true. No, it's totally true. And I just feel, and that's something that's really, it's something that I try to focus on with a lot of like my clients and the people that come to me and ask questions. It's just like, yes, it's a scary thing to like start to explore this thing about you because it's so new, but everything that's new is scary.
Yeah.
Learning how to ride a bike is scary. Like going to your first job is scary. Getting married for the first time is scary. There's so many things that we do in life that give us so much anxiety, but the strength is like just to do it, right? Because if it just becomes you live it, you go through it, and then it just becomes a typical Wednesday night, and you just like living your life. The thing that's changed is that like now you're who you really are, and that you're much happier.
Right.
But it's it's really it's having the courage to really go to the places, to get the information, to be like, okay, this is really who I am and this isn't who I am. And I think people don't really apply that to themselves, and people are really lazy in that.
Yeah.
And I think people should really just do the work, you know?
I don't think I could say it any better.
Just do the work, y'all. Like, really, there's so many different ways of being who you are. Go out there and find the best version of it. Fuck them if they don't agree, if they think it's too weird or too scary. You know, you go home to yourself. You go home to your dogs, to your animals, to your lover. You curate the life you want.
What I'll add to that is this. Before I changed this account to the leather cock, I had chatted with friends for a few months about going in that direction and making this a leather forward or a kink forward account. And no one really got it. They were just like maybe that might be too much. Maybe you should wait and see. And I just did it anyway because I felt like that was a truer representation of myself. To be able to show up, because that's what was happening. I was cooking in leather, I would have someone coming over, and then I would go into gear and cook bread or make bread or dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just felt like this goes together. Like this is the life. This is my life. And and I feel like have found success in this account. And if I listened to what everyone else was saying, it wouldn't exist. And so, really only you really know what your true expression really is. Like you kind of just have to follow the beat to your own drum.
Yes, I totally agree. It's like, make it make sense to you, and if it does, then show that.
Yeah.
I think for a long time I was trying to excuse me, fit into a mold or follow people that just. I was never going to live my life that way.
Yeah.
I'm never going to look like that, or I'm never going to be that. So I'm wasting precious, valuable energy on something that will never be me. Where I could focus my energies and magic into creating and cultivating something that feels authentic to my own lifestyle. And that's what I've done. And coming out as a solo sexual and solo polyamorous and all these things that I'm continuing to explore. It makes me feel comfortable, and that's the most important thing. Like, it has to make you feel good, not anyone else. No one's living that life except for your own.
Yeah, I mean the thing that popped in my head as you were chatting or you were saying that was the thing about so when I'm in a relationship with another person, the thing I've always struggled with is I felt like I bowed down to kind of their expectation of what they thought I should be like instead of my self-expression. And then doubly, I noticed I had less time to do the activities that are meaningful for me or that recharge me.
Yeah.
And this is a pattern that I often found in my relationships where I knew that I needed to grow, but my partner tried to prevent that from happening. And felt myself kind of stymied and kind of disconnected from my passions. And that's why I really love the life that I've built now, where I have a group of good friends and I have a good social network, not depending on one person, but it's kind of a community. And then I have a handful of guys that I play with, and it's I'm getting my needs met, and it's a little bit from a group of people, but to me that's that type of life wasn't modeled for me.
Yeah.
It's something that I've only found through experience. But like I don't know anyone, when I was growing up that was living a similar lifestyle, and not to realize, oh, that's an option. Like I could do that and totally be happy.
Yeah, that's such a really great. It's really profound to when you recognize that you can be whatever you want to be and still be happy.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to discover what those things are. Um, if you're into leather, pick up a leather book, or go to a leather social, or if you're into masturbation, go to a masturbation website. And I think it's important to first and foremost get really clear on the things that make you happy and bring you joy, and then go explore those things.
Yeah.
I always say, if you're not hurting yourself, children, or the elderly, knock yourself out. Have a good time. All with moderation, and of course, when I want to be as safe as possible. But there's no rule book here, man.
Yeah.
Everyone's we're on this. It was funny. I don't know if I read it or if I saw it somewhere, but it's like we're on this giant rock flying through fucking space with fucking aliens. Like, this life is so bizarre. Like, just fucking make it as weird as possible, but just have a good time.
I can't agree more. Like I think that I think about that sometimes. It's just like how some of our problems seem so big at the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but when you have more distance, you realize how insignificant some of those problems are. And you gotta just like live the life that you want to live, and enjoy yourself while you're here.
I agree.
And I think a lot about like, you know, because of my recent like voice thing, um, I was thinking what were all the things that I wanted to do, that would require my voice, and
Mm-hmm.
doing a podcast or having conversations were some of them. And I think it's really important to think about like what are the things that you really want to do? Like if you knew like that you were going to be if you got diagnosed with some sort of like terminal illness and you only had a certain amount of time, like what is the thing that you are going to spend the rest of the time doing that you want to make sure that like I go through this? And I think it's important for people to take the time, because I think it's a shame that people stay in relationships specifically because they feel like they should. I feel like they really hinder themselves in their growth and their exploration by just being like, well, I should be in a relationship because society says that I should be in a relationship, or can't be by myself. Like, there's
It's
so
taken me. I know that all too well. I feel like it's taking me such a long time to like unlearn those things. Um, and I just feel like I'm in a much happier place now that I have, you know, to just kind of just follow the thing that really drives me when I wake up in the morning. I think about these things and it makes me really happy. And I just
yeah,
feel like if I could continue to do that, you really can't go wrong.
right. Well, well, thank you so much for joining me for this live. Um,
Of course, it was fun. Actually really, I don't think I've ever really done many of these, but this is really cool.
so, do you want to tell people where they can find you across all of the platforms?
Yeah, they can find me at Beastly Bator. They can find me all over social media. So it's Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I also have a Just for Fans, which is not safe for work. I want to be able to stress these things. So the Twitter and the Just for Fans are not safe for work, but the Instagram and the YouTube are. So you got a choice here. You can choose your poison. But yeah, that's where they can find me. And
Great.
hopefully doing more stuff. Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming. Is there anything like last minute thoughts that you want to share or anything like that?
Mm, masturbate. If it feels good, you're doing it right.
I think that's a good way to end.
Yeah, I think so too.
I hope you have a great Saturday then, and
I
enjoy
will.
yourself.
You also. Thanks so much again for inviting me. It was a great chat.
Yes, this has been fun. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.